Take-Two Interactive's new NBA 2K16 is now for sale online and in stores around the country. Spike Lee helped develop some of the game's features. And Tesla rolls out its new Model X SUV at an event tonight. Prices for this vehicle start at $80,000, and options can drive that up to about $130,000. Japan Tobacco will pay $5 billion for Reynolds American's Native Spirit cigarettes, but only outside the U.S. And this is National Coffee Day. You can grab yourself a free cup at places like Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, and maybe other coffee shops in your neighborhood. I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC Radio.
The following was recorded at a Burger King drive-thru at breakfast.
Morning, welcome to Burger King.
Let me get a sausage, egg, and cheese croissant.
Sure, right now they're 2 for $4, but is that how you say that?
Yeah, croissant.
Where I'm from, we say croissant-wich. Try that.
Croissant.
Oh, that took you 2 seconds. Took me years of practice.
I'm not you.
Piled high with thick-cut bacon or savory sausage, fluffy eggs, and melted cheese. Get 2 croissant-wich breakfast sandwiches for just $4, only at Burger King. Limited time only. Price and participation vary.
Flu season starts with all kinds of symptoms. At Walmart, we can help you be prepared before they show up with products like Mucinex to help relieve chest congestion and Delsum to help silence coughs for 12 hours. You'll also want to be ready with Sudafed PE to relieve sinus congestion and pressure, and Motrin for body aches and to reduce fever. So don't wait until the symptoms have already started. Be prepared for flu season this year. Stock up on everything you need at Walmart.
Use all products as directed.
Consider this your invitation to sell. At buysellmakeoffer.com, you can sell as much as you want for the next 60 days without paying any fees whatsoever. Sound incredible? It is, and it's true. Buysellmakeoffer.com is the new exciting way to sell your stuff online. Make extra money right now. Sell your old car, furniture, video games, household items, clothes, even your home. Sell anything that's legal. Load up your stuff to sell right now at buysellmakeoffer.com. This is your official invitation to get on board to sell your stuff right now. Free for the next 60 days. And once you see how easy it is, you'll want to sign up for more because there are no item fees. That's right. Take this opportunity to move items from the other guys and sell it for free. You might even win a Samsung tablet, Amazon gift cards, and other cool prizes. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the future of online selling. You can use Skype to talk to your buyer or seller. Plus, you can use video to showcase your items. BuySellMakeOffer.com.
With your Tuesday news, I'm Jim Miller, KCAA 1050 AM, CNBC News, the station that leaves no listener behind. Here's what's happening. Authorities have identified the 2 men killed in what appears to be random shootings in Banning over the weekend. Riverside County Coroner's Office said Banning residents 34-year-old Benjamin Johnson and 66-year-old Paul Lesh, pronounced dead an hour apart from each other Saturday, followed a shooting spree that began late Saturday morning. 35-year-old James Diaz of Hemet was arrested on suspicion of murder. Housing in California, already considered unaffordable to many, will become even less affordable over the next 2 years, with construction unable to keep up with demand. UCLA Anderson Forecast senior economist says in his forecast that government agencies need to reconsider their policies surrounding affordable housing if they hope to make a dent in the problem. He says building constraints, natural or regulatory, will not permit a sufficient number of new homes to be built to satisfy the demand at affordable levels. Supporters of an effort to repeal California's new law requiring mandatory vaccines for school children faced a Monday deadline to turn in enough signatures to qualify a ballot initiative asking voters to repeal the law. The group had until the end of the day to submit the needed 366,000 signatures to county clerks to ask California voters to repeal the bill, which struck the state's personal belief exemption for immunizations, a move that requires nearly all public school children to be vaccinated. And that's what's happening. I'm Jim Miller, KCAA 1050 AM, CNBC News. It's the station that leaves no listener behind.
Traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Riverside, we have an accident. The right lane is blocked on the 91 westbound at 14th Street. The Riverside 91 at 14th, the crash is blocking the right lane. It's backed up before Mission Inn. In Corona, there's an accident. The right lane is blocked on the 91 westbound at 6th Street / Maple Street. There's a SIG alert there, the 91 west at Maple. A wreck is blocking the right lane. The drive is slammed from La Sierra. In Ranch Cucamonga, we have stop-and-go traffic on the 210 westbound between the 15 and Day Creek Boulevard. Ranch Cucamonga, the 210 west is slow from the 15 to Foothill Boulevard. In Mira Loma, there's stop-and-go traffic on the 60 westbound between Etiwanda Avenue and Mission Boulevard. Also in Mira Loma, the 60 west is slow from Country Village Road to the 57. Again in Corona, stop-and-go traffic on the 15 northbound between Temescal Canyon Road and Wyrick Road. Corona 15 northbound is slow from Temescal Canyon to the 91. In Moreno Valley, stop-and-go traffic on the 215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and East Ridge/Eucalyptus Avenue. Moreno Valley 215 north is slow from Alessandro Boulevard to University. In Glen Avon, there's an accident. The right lane is blocked on the 60 westbound before Pyrite Street. Finally, in Upland, there's an accident. The shoulder is blocked on the 10 westbound at Mountain Avenue. The 10 west at Mountain, a crash has been moved to the right shoulder. The traffic remains backed up to Citrus Avenue. This has been your KCAA 1050 AM traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
As the owner of my business, I wear a lot of hats. I'm accounting, sales, and so much more. But I don't know marketing.
Let Dex Media be your marketing department. Our team can create a digital plan for you with everything from search to social. Contact Dex Media, that's DEX Media, to get found, get chosen, and get talked about.
Whoa, that's a job for cleanup, which would be me.
Call 844-230-3436 or visit dexmedia.com today.
KCAA Radio, Loma Linda, where no listener is ever left behind.
Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker. And we have Todd Brinker, I think.
Oh, hello. I'm here.
Hello.
Good morning.
We missed his cue. Todd Brinker, waking up. Have you got coffee with you, Todd?
Yeah. I was here. I think something got muted, but I'm here. I was saying hello.
It's all right. So we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, where I tease my co-host. And anyway, here on KCAA, have a great show planned for you today. And Todd, did you read a book, or did either of your kids read a book called Artemis Fowl?
I think they did. That sounds very familiar.
So Alex did, my son did, and we are going to have its author, Owen Colfer, and famed illustrator Oliver Jeffers on today, and they have written a children's book called Imaginary Fred, and I hear they're absolutely delightful together, so I'm really looking forward to that interview.
That's cool.
Going to be in the second half of the show, actually at 6:40, and and before then, we're going to be talking about the news of the day. Lots of things going on. Although I have to say, I was on the homepage of one of the major three networks. ABC, NBC, CBS. Those are the major three. I was on one of their websites, and it wasn't NBC. And the front page was all Kardashian. It was, who's breaking up with whom, all of this seriously gossip on the front page of a national news station. It was their mother station, not one of the locals. And it so bothered me because there's huge news stories going on right now. So I just had to whine about that. It's like, come on. The Kardashians really are not interesting. I wish people would stop talking about them.
Yeah, I just keep going back to that news guy a few weeks back who went on the rant on air going, This is not news. This is not news.
This is a bunny rabbit. This is not news. Stop. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel his pain. I do.
Yeah.
They need to just stop.
Yeah, no, I think we as the news-consuming public need to just put our foot down and say, you know what, we will not participate in watching any of your shows if you continue to feed us this trash.
Exactly.
Tell us what's going on in the world. That's what we watch the news shows for. We don't really care about anybody's personal life, unless it has some national relevance. And certainly, what a Kardashian was wearing yesterday is not of any relevance to me in any way, shape, or form.
In any way, shape, or form. It used to be there would be a tab or there'd be a section in a newspaper or a small piece in a televised newscast that was on some gossip, and you had like people talking about what's going on in Hollywood, and it was usually red carpet stuff, movie premieres, that kind of stuff. And now it's front page, and
somehow the entertainment section just took over.
It really did. Have you seen the movie Idiocracy? That's what I feel like we're moving towards.
Yeah, no, you're right. You ask somebody what was the big news today, and they start talking about the Kim Kardashian's latest tweet, and you're going, wait a minute, how is that news?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I fall asleep? Who fell asleep? Oh my gosh, I forgot who fell asleep. Was it Rasputin? No, he wasn't. Didn't fall asleep. Anyway, did I fall
Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin was a little guy. Anyway, doesn't matter. So, I feel like I've fallen asleep in some cryo chamber and awakened to the time of Idiocracy. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a great social commentary. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
So let's move away from that and talk about Todd's Tech Time.
Todd's Tech Time. So today I was going to talk a little bit about the new tablet from Amazon. It's releasing on the 30th, which is tomorrow. Amazon has a brand new 7-inch tablet, and there's nothing particularly amazing about it technology-wise. In fact, some people have joked that it's a step back to 2013 in terms of technology. But here's the cool thing. It's running the latest version of their version of Android. So they have their own sort of forked version of Android that they call the Fire OS. It's got reasonably good video. It's got reasonably good memory. It has SD card slots. You can extend the memory, which most tablets that they sell don't. None of the Apple tablets or devices have any way to extend the memory. Here's the catch. It's $50.
Oh, wow.
$50. They are going out and completely underselling the market with a device that's a completely functional device for $50.
Wow, you know what people are going to be getting this Christmas.
Yeah, in fact, they sell 5. If you buy 5 for $250, they'll throw in an extra. You can get 6 for $250. Get one and give it to all your friends.
And that's still less than an iPad.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And this is a 7-inch device. It has, I think it's a 1024 display, and so it's relatively good quality, relatively good backlighting and brightness. I mean, nothing about it technically stands out and says this is the best tablet on the market. But for $50, you got to ask yourself, well, is it good enough?
Yeah, well, and I wonder, I mean, this is really going to be for families, right? I mean, it's something that your kids can then have so they can, it help them do their homework or whatever, and maybe you can't afford a computer, but you can afford a $50 tablet.
Absolutely, and what they do is they tie it into the Amazon ecosystem. They're trying to, and they're one of the few companies out there that has the ability to actually, provide an ecosystem that competes with some of the stuff that Apple does, in that they have their own video streaming service. You can get Amazon Prime and get video streaming. You've got the Amazon Kindle books, which is a big seller, so it becomes a very high-quality book reader. Although that said, you can get a Kindle app on just about any electronic device and get the same functionality there.
But that electronic device will be more than $50.
Exactly. Then again, for $50, how many iPhones can you get? About a quarter of one.
Yes.
Or less than a quarter of one, actually. Yeah, about a tenth of one. And so there's some conversation in the tech world as to what kind of a dent this will make, and a lot of the techies are kind of going ho-hum. It doesn't, who cares? It's not the latest and greatest, really, in terms of technology, but in terms of the social impact that it can have. A $50 tablet from a brand name company. I mean, there's been $50 tablets out there from names, companies with names you can't pronounce that you've never heard of and don't have any trust in. Amazon's pretty trustworthy. They passed Walmart as the #1 retailer a few months back. Amazon's a name and a brand that people know. And to put out a $50 tablet with their name behind it, and actually one of their top selling points, if you look at it, is the toughness of the tablet. They say that it's I think 5 times tougher than an iPad, in a drop test. So they've done some drop tests with it. And if you wanted to spend $100, you can get a kid's version of this that's hardened. So it comes with a heavier duty case. And a tougher screen protected glass, and when I say case, I'm not talking about like one that's added on, but the actual device has a tougher case on it, and it also provides some blocking on the browser so that you can limit where your kids can get to versus when they're browsing the internet, so the parents can set up some protections and stuff. So, they're making a real impact with a device that's incredibly affordable.
I'm looking through this CNET article that's talking about. It's got some pictures of it. It is thick and it's small, but and they're kind of poo-pooing it. You get what you pay for, blah, blah, blah. But I honestly think this is fantastic. And I think that you'll see families getting this for even their teenagers. Like I said, if they can't afford a computer, they could afford this, and then their kids have access to what they need to have access to for school. People take notes on tablets. They use tablets for all kinds of things. Not the least of which is like Audible.com, so you can listen or you can read. Amazon actually has a download like their own streaming and MP3 music. It's like iTunes.
That's what I'm saying. They're the only people that have a similar type of ecosystem to Apple in that they've got streaming music, they've got streaming video, they have their own app store so that everything that you can get. I mean, you can go to anywhere and get any Android compatible device, but if you buy it through the Apple App Store, through the Amazon App Store or through Google Play Store, you're getting something that's sort of been pre-tested and checked so that you're much less likely to get something that has any kind of viruses or bugs in it. And they've got thousands of apps in there now, so you can do all kinds of productivity and fun things with a 7-inch tablet that costs you $50.
And I have to say, I'll say this, and we'll talk about this more when we come back from the break, but, there's some things that Apple's been doing that have been getting on their customers' nerves. And so, one of those is iOS 9. People that I know that have gone ahead and upgraded it have not been happy. And I didn't like the last upgrade of iTunes. And so, the timing for this for Amazon may be right on. So it's time for a break at 6:16. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on Kcaa AM 1050, and we'll be right back.
Here's your Money Minute with Market Wrap host Mo Ansari.
If you follow the markets, you've probably been getting seasick lately. But what if I told you that market volatility can be a good thing? If you're a bargain hunter, this is your coupon. So keep your shopping list handy. If you're a long-term investor with plenty of time before retirement, the money going into your 401k each month will buy more shares when the markets are down. And if you have a good financial plan, you can relax while others worry, because that plan will carry you beyond today's headlines. Of course, you should always consider professional guidance before making any financial decisions. That's your Money Minute. I'm Mo Ansari.
For more tips on investing during market volatility and other investment topics, listen to Market Wrap weekdays at 5 p.m. on this station. For a free consultation with Mo Ansari, call 800-388-9700. That's 800-388-9700.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds Custodian Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
We found the problem with your car. Turns out the carburetor differential modulator is out.
What?
And while we were digging around in there, this thing fell off.
Stop. There's no automotive repair nightmares at Diego Martinez's 5-Star Automotive in San Bernardino. 5-Star Automotive, where you'll get a great experience and home of the $15.99 oil change. That's right, just $15.99. They specialize in transmissions, brake repair, AC, and many other repairs, all with a lifetime warranty on parts and labor. Diego knows when your auto needs 5-star attention, it's never convenient. He offers a 12-month interest-free auto repair loan on major auto repairs with no money down. He'll even throw in free towing and a 10% discount for his neighbors in the 909 who work for the city and county of San Bernardino. Call 909-387-0770. That's 387-0770. Your neighbors at 909 West 2nd Street in San Bernardino.
The San Bernardino Rotary Foundation wants you to be a part of this city's renaissance. That's why they hope you'll attend the San Bernardino Summit. On Tuesday, October 6th at the historic Fox Theater on Court Street, community leaders like Dr. John Husing and Mayor Carrie Davis will speak on bringing San Bernardino from bankruptcy back to all-American greatness. Attend the San Bernardino Summit Tuesday morning, October 6th at the Fox Theater. Proceeds benefit the Literacy and Rotary Life Scholarship programs.
The great rocker, writer, and activist Patti Smith has a song that brings all three of her talents into a single refrain. People have the power to dream, to rule, to wrestle the world from fools. For people power to be more than a cliche shouted out at rallies, it has to do something, such as dream, wrestle, and rule. That pretty well defines the remarkable grassroots group of people power doers who've come together under the principled banner of Iowa Citizens for Community Improvement. Since 1975, these feisty farmers, conservationists, workers, students, consumers, and other everyday Iowa people have strategized, organized, and mobilized to take on bankers, bosses, big shots, bastards, and BSers in battle after battle for economic, environmental, social, and political justice. In the process, CCI has become a national model of direct, nonpartisan civic action to foster two of America's highest ideals. One, government of, by, and for the people. And two, economic fairness and prosperity for all. The widening chasm of inequality in our land and the rise of plutocratic rule cause some people to wring their hands and hope in vain that some golden-haired politician will ride in to save them. They might as well trust their last pork chop to a coyote. CCI members know the futility of that strategy, so they've joined hands to try wresting their world from the greedheads and boneheads who feel entitled to fool around with ordinary people's lives. That scrappy democratic spirit is what's drawing me to Des Moines in a couple of weeks to join Reverend William Barber, Alicia Garza, Sally Cohn, and several hundred Iowans in a joyous 2-day 40th birthday bash to celebrate and extend CCI's progressive vision and successes. This is Jim Hightower saying, for information, go to iowacci.org.
KCAA, where every day is a great day. KCAA, Loma Linda.
Come with me now. Come with me now.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. So continuing with our conversation about tech giants, we've started with Amazon and moving into iOS. iOS is giving some people some sticker shock. If you're using iOS and your data rates are reaching new highs, watch out for the otherwise useful feature called Wi-Fi Assist. It automatically allows your phone to download data via your cellular plan when Wi-Fi coverage isn't great. And this is according to ZDNet. Well, that's fine, except that most people have limits on their data plan. So maybe they only have 2 gigs allowed per month, but now that things are downloading in the background, they may find themselves with huge overages. And so there's some tweets listed in this article. And this guy says, I usually use 1 to 2 gigabytes of mobile data a month. This month I'm up to 7. I suspect iOS 9 Wi-Fi Assist. Anybody else? Somebody else tweeted, pretty certain iOS 9's Wi-Fi Assist is responsible for my last huge 4 gig data bill. So, yikes, that's not good.
Yeah, it's the thing is, and you can blame this. I mean, it's a function of your settings on your phone or on your device. It's something that's available on Android devices as well as for Apple devices. It's one of those unfortunate things that if somebody has it set such that it allows the Wi-Fi to take over or to have Wi-Fi downloads, it's something that's been available in, it's not just iOS. I mean, this new setting is iOS. They've consolidated it, but the ability to do Wi-Fi downloads has been there for a long time. And it's something you can turn on and off. And if you leave it on, then you definitely have to watch out what you're doing and understand what happens with the phone in the background in terms of updating data. You can have apps that are running in the background that maybe are pulling down data to update so that when you launch the app, they're automatically updated as opposed to waiting a few seconds while they download the stuff when you launch them. If you're on a limited data plan, obviously you want to make sure you have that set the other way. So it's one of those things where, I think what the complaint really is that the default is that it's on as a backup and people need to just be aware of that and make the change and configure their device appropriately.
And Apple didn't tell anyone because, when you put in a new app on any iPhone, it'll ask you, do you want this to update? It'll ask you several setting questions when you first open up that app, that brand new app. And
right.
You leave your settings, if you don't change them, you don't expect them to be changed automatically when you update your phone or your tablet. And so, the challenge is that Apple didn't tell anyone that this major change was happening, and consequently they get smacked with big bills. And there are very few, well, if you're on Sprint you get unlimited data, but AT&T and Verizon don't give unlimited data anymore. And so this matters to people. If they are using their data, they want to be, first of all, they want to be aware of it and have the choice not to do it. And if they're not told that this significant change has happened, then they don't have that choice.
Well, yeah, the problem is that yeah, if they don't know about it and they happen to have a lot of stuff going on, then it can come back and bite you. But again, the setting isn't a new one. Excuse me, isn't a new one. And honestly, I'm not certain that does change as a default. They're talking about whether you use cellular data or not in your settings. And again, when every time you load an app, it asks you specifically for that app, and in that same setting, you can go down and individually turn on and off the data app.
Except that people who are, they're tweeting out that something has obviously changed, because they're tweeting out that they haven't changed anything, and yet they've gotten these huge overage charges. So it has to be from the downloading of the update.
Possibly, I guess possibly. I don't know. I guess I'm just a little skeptical, in seeing that. I haven't seen it. I get the latest and greatest of everything, and in fact, I do some development, and so I even I pre-test some of this stuff, and I haven't seen any changes. And so I can't. My own experience doesn't reflect that. I don't doubt that somebody maybe had an issue. I just don't know what the settings are in their phone, and so from my experience, nothing changed.
I always wait. So you are an early adopter, early bleeding edge early adopter. I still adopt earlier than many, but not earlier than most. I wait to see what issues there are with the update, so that the patches can be created before I download it. So I haven't upgraded yet. I do have an iPhone 6 and I love it. And I guess the iPhone 6S is selling like hotcakes already, as it always does. I have never been to an Apple store that wasn't a zoo. So, obviously they're still very popular products. And I still, I have my MacBook Air and I have my iPhone, and I love them both. So.
Yeah. I'm not trying to defend them in one way or the other. I'm just saying that my experience has been different, and it seems to me like, and again, I have no idea behind these things, but it seems like after each launch of every new device, there always seems to be something that comes out. They say, they bend. Well, then you find out they don't really bend any worse than anybody else's phone, or if you do this, something happens to that, and it seems to me like there's a group out there that seems to want to make the iPhone devices seem bad the moment the new one is released, and it happens after every one. So I'm always a little skeptical when I hear something like this.
So you have Apple haters.
But then on the iPhone 4, very clearly, if you held it a certain way, you caused a change in the attenuation of the antenna and you lost connection. I was able to replicate that and saw the problem and said, yep, there's definitely a design issue, and Apple addressed it when they actually came out with a Verizon version of the phone for the first time.
Oh, that's right. It used to only be on AT&T.
Right. Yeah. Way back in the day.
In the day.
That was the iPhone 4 when they created a Verizon version of the phone with the CDMA antenna in it. Nowadays, they're basically making one phone, from what I can tell, that has all the multiple antennas, and it runs on all the different devices. So they're not differentiating anymore. But I don't doubt that when they do, they've got thousands of people working on these things and working, through each new feature, but that doesn't mean that things slip through. The antenna thing slipped through. The bend thing I thought was just a farce, and it's by, just like there's Apple fanboys, there's Apple haters out there too, and so there's people looking for ways to tear them down. There's other people looking for ways to put them on a pedestal. And it's a company with a lot of engineers, and they do some great stuff, and sometimes they make some errors as well.
Yep. So on to another tech topic. There's a new website out. It's Tech Day, apparently. There's a new website that makes it way easier to apply to college, and so. I wish this was around when our kids were applying to state schools. More than 80 universities have promised to make the college application process easier through a new website where students will be able to submit applications to many schools and get coaching to compile a digital portfolio of their academic accomplishments. Some of the top names in higher education are joining the effort under a new coalition called Coalition for Access, Affordability, and Success. Their goal is to remove the barriers to the application process, especially from low-income students students and first-generation college students. The coalition includes private colleges like Harvard and Yale, along with public schools like the University of Florida, Ohio State. And as soon as summer 2016, some schools in the group will let students apply through the new website. Now, the Common App has existed for quite a while for lots of different private schools. I don't know if Harvard and Yale use the Common App or not, but it's all private schools. So if you want to go to a public school, you have to apply to all of those public schools separately, which is frustrating. So if you want to apply at the University of Arizona and University of Oregon and the University of California, wherever, they're all different apps, and there's nothing. I mean, each has their own requirements. Now, having said that, with the Common App, and I don't know about this one, you still have to write separate essays. There's still
the Common App's kind of a joke because you would do the Common App and then you would do the variations from the Common App that each particular college needed, which was almost an application in and of itself.
Right. I mean, it just allowed you. The one thing that was nice is that it was all in one place. So it's not like you had to re-enter all of your basic data all the time. So with the Common App, so I think this is good.
Yeah, it saves some work, but it certainly didn't remove the requirement, the individuality of each application as each college tried to find what they wanted. I think this is a great idea. The only thing that I see frustrating about it for a lot of the world is it's they said low-income students and first-generation college students. Well, what about those middle-income students from families where their parents have already got a college degree? They struggle to get their apps in too. I mean, the process is probably second only to paying taxes in terms of pain of filling out forms and trying to understand what it is the hoops you have to jump through for each individual school in order to maximize your opportunities.
Just because you went to college doesn't mean you have a high income. Teachers are middle class, social workers, lots of people who went to college make a middle income. And just because they went to college doesn't mean that they have tons and tons of money and
some of these apps are $100 submissions. I mean, they're expensive. It's expensive just to apply to colleges, even if you've got a student that's academically exceptional and has an opportunity to get grants and support to go to those schools. Just the application process can be exasperating in terms of just what you have to do, and then costly in terms of what you have to pay.
Indeed. Well, it's time for another break. It's 6:32. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on Kcaa AM 1050. And when we get back, at 6:40, we'll be talking to two fabulous men who have written a new book and illustrated a new book. This is Owen Kulfer and Oliver Jeffers. So we'll be right back.
The most diversified radio station on the dial, AM 1050, KCAA.
Our vineyard started as a small farm. But with careful planning and hard work, we're now one of the largest grape producers in the region. With so much to preserve, we need to be well protected. That's why we chose Travelers. They have the insurance we need to protect what we've built and to give us the confidence to keep growing.
At Travelers, we're here to help keep vineyards growing today and into tomorrow. Contact your local Travelers agent or visit us at travelers.com/agribusiness.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 888-98-STEEL. That's 888-98-STEEL. 888-98-STEEL.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got sunny skies on high near 93. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 66. Sunny and 95 on Wednesday. Wednesday night, mostly clear, low near 67. Thursday, sunny with a high near 92. Thursday night, mostly clear, low near 64. Friday, sunny with a high of 93. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 68. Saturday, sunny with a high of 93. Saturday night, patchy fog, mostly cloudy skies, and a low near 66. That's your latest weather forecast for this hour from the station that leaves no listener behind, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, KCAA. It's
time for your KCAA 1050 AM traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. Corona is a mess. There's an accident on the right lane is blocked on the 91 westbound at 6th Street / Maple Street. A SIG alert on the Corona 91 west at Maple. A wreck is blocking the right lane. The drive is slammed from La Sierra and stays slow to Green River Road. The 71 south is slow from Euclid Avenue to the 91. In Ontario, there's stop-and-go traffic on the 60 westbound between the I-15 and Milliken Avenue. In Ontario, the 60 west is slow from the 15 to the 57. The 10 west is slow from Etiwanda Avenue to the 57. The 210 west is slow from the 15 to San Dimas Avenue. In Lake Elsinore, there's stop-and-go traffic on the 15 northbound between Indian Truck Trail and Temescal Canyon Road. Lake Elsinore 15 north is slow from Indian Truck Trail to the 91. In Moreno Valley, stop-and-go traffic on the 215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and Blaine Street / 3rd Street. Moreno Valley 215 north is slow from Alessandro Boulevard to University Avenue. This has been your KCAA 1050 AM traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
Are you particular about the vitamins and supplements you take? Have you found that the big chain stores simply don't have what you need? Then you should know about the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills. You'll find rock-bottom prices on gourmet, top-quality vitamins and mineral supplements at the Vitamin Center. Get 30% off on all supplements and homeopathic products. All, not just selected merchandise. In addition, you'll find 30% off on all cosmetics, soaps, shampoos, toothpaste, makeup, hair coloring, and lip gloss. And all tea products are discounted 20%. Why go anywhere else? See for yourself at the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills, or check out the savings and place your order online. VitaminCenterAgoraHills.com. Start saving by getting what you need from the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills. And tell a friend that the Vitamin Center ships nationwide. Call 818-707-0005. That's 818-707-0005. The Vitamin Center of Agora Hills.
Don't miss a minute of the action. Check out the podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. The station that leaves no listener behind, AM 1050 KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. And so now we should talk about some hard-hitting news. You know that Obama and Putin, President Obama and Vladimir Putin, of course we all know who Vladimir Putin is, met privately for more than 90 minutes yesterday, about 30 minutes longer than they were scheduled, but neither was divulging much afterwards. Putin called the meeting businesslike, in quotes, while Obama didn't provide immediate comments. A White House official said that it was, again, businesslike. Based on their dueling speeches yesterday morning at the UN, it was likely an interesting meeting. Even the subsequent luncheon toast after the two speeches seemed tense. The two men shook hands and clinked glasses. As they did so, Putin smiled, but Obama threw him some shade, shot him a piercing look. And so here's some samples of the differing quotes. Obama says, "We see some major powers assert themselves in ways that contravene international law." This is Putin then. "We all know that after the end of the Cold War, a single center of domination emerged in the world. And then those who found themselves at the top of that pyramid were tempted to think that if they were so strong and exceptional, then we know better than anyone what to do and why, and all should reckon with the UN. And all should we reckon with the UN." The Obama then says Syria's Bashar al-Assad.
Brandon? Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, do we have our guest on the line? All right, we'll pick up this discussion at the end of the show. But right now, I'd like to welcome Owen Colfer and Oliver Jeffers. You might remember Owen Colfer. He's written children's book, including Artemis Fowl. My son loved Artemis Fowl, and Oliver Jeffers is a world-renowned illustrator. They have written and illustrated a book called Imaginary Fred. It's a quirky, funny, and an utterly irresistible story that people are going to absolutely love. So welcome to the show, Owen Colfer and Oliver Jeffers.
Thank you. Thanks.
So excited to have you both on. So talk about your decision to come together and work on Imaginary Fred.
Well, from this is Owen, and from my point of view, the desire to work together, that was the main motivator. I didn't even have an idea when I approached Oliver. I just said, I love your stuff, and could we do something together? And then once he tentatively let me through the bodyguards. I got straight on Fred immediately and started working it up.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things where we met at a book tour in Australia and New Zealand, and I knew of Owen and knew of his work, and we just, as they say, liked the cut of each other's jib. We just got along great, and I knew that anything that we would work on together would just be a pleasure to do.
Now, you're both Irish, is that correct?
It is, Big Ara.
So you go all the way to New Zealand to run into each other and get to know each other, huh? So that's a nice handy little place to stop in and meet friends from back home.
It is very convenient, close to nowhere.
But it's such a small world, the writing world, that I've met a lot of Irish writers overseas and I've never met them in Ireland.
Well, do they not say that Ireland's just an export factory anyway?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, hey, I'd like to be imported. Ireland's beautiful.
It is.
It is nice, but you've got the weather out there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although you could have the weather. It's been too hot for too long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, too hot and too dry.
The Irish people don't even understand that sentence.
Yeah. What? You mean it's 70?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to us about imaginary friend. You know, every child has an imaginary friend at some point. So talk about what he experiences and honestly, what was the impetus for writing this particular story?
Well, when I was a little boy in 1979, something very special happened in my life, and that was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy came out. And I don't know if you guys remember that book.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, I loved the book.
Well, there was a character in that called Zaphod Beeblebrox, who had two heads.
Right. And
in my imagination, my imaginary friend was Zaphod Beeblebrox's left head, which I used to imagine sitting on my left shoulder, which is kind of... I never told you that, Oliver. This is just weird.
That's fantastic.
So I didn't even have to look around to talk to my imaginary friend. I would just, he would talk into my ear, and I would chat away with him. So I don't know if it's sad or fantastic. I'm not sure which.
Yeah. Well, you had an opportunity to tie in there too, because you wrote the sixth book in that series, right?
That is correct. That is correct. And I never knew how much vitriol there was on the internet until I did.
It's tough picking up somebody else's characters and running with them, but you were sort of handpicked to do that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It must have been quite an honor
It was a huge honor because Douglas Adams was the biggest influence on my writing career, but also it was amazingly terrifying. I'm sure it would be like if you're a musician and Paul McCartney pops his head in the door and says, "We're putting the Beatles back together. Will you be John Lennon?"
Oh,
yeah. It's terrifying, but brilliant. But
yeah.
But mainly terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, are there any future works planned for you?
Well, I have. I'm working on a book that will come out next year, and there's a book that this is Oliver, and I illustrated a book that came out last week, and this seems to be the season for books coming out. Well, the day the crayons came home.
Oliver's already moving on. He's broken up with me. He's on to the next writer.
Got to get the band back together.
We're going to be stuck in airports an awful lot this week, so you never know. That's sometimes where ideas come from. Just flights and delayed flights and whatnot.
So, Oliver, when you're doing an illustration for a book, I mean, like in Imaginary Fred, how many illustrations were there, and how long does it take you to do that kind of work?
If Owen's asking, it takes a really long time, and it's really complicated. But with this book, sometimes what happens is when you read a manuscript, you can just see very clearly how the whole thing should look.
That's very visual.
Yeah, and as a picture book, there are more words in this, so it's this sort of strange gap in between picture books and chapter books, and then even at one point we talked about a graphic novel because the word count is quite heavy. And I thought that the best way to do this, to show an imaginary friend visually, was for him to be the only splash of color in an otherwise black and white world. And so it's really just these line drawings that were quite spontaneous, and an awful lot of that is just letting your hand draw the way that whatever really it wants to draw. And so there's an ease and a flow to it. And once I got started, the whole thing came together in a month or so.
Excellent. What's your medium? I'm sorry, Aaron.
For this one, all the drawings are dipping pen and ink, and then Fred, because of the kind of the graphic nature of the dots that make him up. It's the same technique they use whenever they're printing newspapers.
Right.
So they break down the image into dots.
Absolutely.
That's done using Photoshop.
Yeah. So you were using Photoshop. So you're doing this electronically.
Just the Fred part, but
The stippling,
all the
okay.
drawings are actual line drawings.
Mm-hmm.
So did you sit down and talk about what, like maybe Owen sat down and said, this is how I envision Fred, or Oliver, did you just know, or how did that come together where you all had the same vision of what imaginary Fred looked like?
Owen sent me the manuscript, and then I took one quick crack at drawing him and Sam, the other main character, and showed them to Owen. He was like, yeah, that's great. I don't know whether you were distracted or...
Yeah.
Or whether they actually
I was watching football. No, I knew whatever Oliver did would be fantastic, and I don't think with someone of Oliver's ability, you don't really try and say, well, this is what I want you to do. You just give him the words.
Oh, people do.
Do they?
Yeah, I just don't listen to them, though.
And you just, you let him go, and Oliver came back with these amazing drawings. So I don't think I ever said anything. I didn't want to change anything. It was the easiest collaboration ever. Usually, there's a little bit of fighting. And I'm sure we will fight over the next week.
It's your turn to buy dinner, Owen.
Well, yeah. that may be true. It's White Castle for us then.
Oh, yuck.
Or In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, that's much better. That's much better.
It's a step up,
So, where is your tour going to bring you to Southern California here soon?
Unfortunately not. Now I've got In-N-Out Burger in my head. I wish it was.
We're not. I don't think we're going out to California.
No, not this time.
Well, So, but I go out there a lot, and I stay in Santa Monica quite a bit, and Malibu. So it's my dream, and I was telling Oliver this, to rent a house on the beach for a year and just write a book there.
Oh, that would be lovely.
So maybe it's a naive dream, but I just have this image of sunsets over the ocean, and
do you
I'm
find
writing
that
the war book.
Do you find that like the location that you're at when you're writing affects the type of writing that you do?
I do, yeah. If I'm happy somewhere, I tend to write a lot better. If I'm stressed, I write angry stuff about murders. I want to write a happy
Could you
book.
sit watching the sunset over the Pacific Ocean and write a book about rainy Ireland?
I could actually, because I lived in France for a year, and funnily, while I was in France, all I could think about was Ireland. So I wrote a book about salty islands in Ireland. So you could do that. Actually.
Okay.
Now, so are you all from Northern Ireland? Or are you from the main?
Well, this is Oliver. I'm from Northern Ireland. I'm from Belfast. I grew up there.
Yeah, I'm from the south.
You can't tell from our accents. They're clearly very different from each other.
Yeah, actually, I can, and I say this. I had one of my very best friends lives in Portrush, Northern Ireland, and
oh, really?
Yes, and so
great golf course there.
Oh, it's beautiful. She lives in paradise. So
what's her name?
You think you'd know her?
I'm sure we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her name is Kirsty Torrance Deal.
Oh,
not Kirsty.
Oh my God. They're a family of criminals.
They are. There are posters up in most local shops.
There you go.
Yeah. This is not live, is it? Okay.
It is indeed live.
Oops.
So where can people find Imaginary Fred?
Bookshops. Any bookshop, online. And in your imagination, I suppose, would be the glib answer, but actually we prefer you buy the book. would be better.
I can imagine your drawings and your story.
Buy it, right?
Yeah, I think we're going to have fun on this tour, and hopefully we can get to speak to a lot of kids and maybe draw their imaginary friends for them.
Yeah. As Owen said, if this book can lead to kids going on to read other books, then that's only a good thing.
Indeed, and I'm on a board of a nonprofit that's called the Inland Empire Children's Book Project, and all we do is get books in the hands of kids, and it's very important that kids, especially little ones, but all the way through, find books that they love. It opens up the whole world to them.
That's true. Although, having said that, I'm suspicious of any organization with the word empire in the Bible.
Okay, but this area is
Star
called
Wars thing, I think.
Yeah, well, the area is called the Inland Empire, which is a very, very.
Yes, we don't have a Death Star, although maybe we should. Well, thank you both for joining us today. This has been an absolutely delightful conversation. And you are welcome in Southern California anytime. We're not near the beach, but we are near the mountains. They're very pretty.
Yeah, halfway between them both.
Guys.
Yes, thank you so much. We've been joined by Owen Colfer and Oliver Jeffers. You have to get this book, Imaginary Fred. It's a children's book, but I think adults will love it too. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So this is Aaron Brinker.
And Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, and we will be right back.
Go ahead and say it. We're all ears. AM 1050 KCAA.
Hi, this is Steve Aladort from Rancho Financial with the Mortgage Minute. This may be the perfect time to move forward with a new purchase. The feds have not yet increased short-term rates. When they do, we expect both rates and property values to increase. Today, you have an opportunity to qualify for a lower payment and more home than potentially even just a few months down the road. If you have VA eligibility, we can do up to 100% financing. We have loans with as little as 3.5% down, less than 20% down without mortgage insurance. Turned down because you can't qualify with your tax returns? We have special programs that we can use your assets to qualify you, and we have just come out with a bank statement program. If you can't qualify with your tax returns but can show income through your bank statements, we might have a loan program just for you. There are many possible options that can make a huge difference in your monthly payments. That's why you need a loan financial planner. Give me a call, Steve Aladort, at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070, or go to loanfinancialplanner.com.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family-owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog, or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
Here's your Money Minute with Market Wrap host Mo Ansari.
If you follow the markets, you've probably been getting seasick lately. But what if I told you that market volatility can be a good thing? If you're a bargain hunter, this is your coupon. So keep your shopping list handy. If you're a long-term investor with plenty of time before retirement, the money going into your 401k each month will buy more shares when the markets are down. And if you have a good financial plan, you can relax while others worry, because that plan will carry you beyond today's headlines. Of course, you should always consider professional guidance before making any financial decisions. That's your Money Minute. I'm Mo Ansari.
For more tips on investing during market volatility and other investment topics, listen to Market Wrap weekdays at 5 p.m. on this station. For a free consultation with Mo Ansari, call 800-388-9700. That's 800-388-9700.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
The San Bernardino Rotary Foundation wants you to be a part of this city's renaissance. That's why they hope you'll attend the San Bernardino Summit. On Tuesday, October 6th at the historic Fox Theater on Court Street, community leaders like Dr. John Husing and Mayor Carrie Davis will speak on bringing San Bernardino from bankruptcy back to all-American greatness. Attend the San Bernardino Summit Tuesday morning, October 6th at the Fox Theater. Proceeds benefit the Literacy and Rotary Life Scholarship programs.
Listen to AM 1050 KCAA. It makes people wonder what you're up to.
Welcome back. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. Boy, that was a fun interview.
It was. Those guys are a load of fun.
They are a load of fun. I'd like to have a beer with those guys.
Yeah. Well, and you can tell they really enjoy each other's company, too. So they really play off each other really well.
Indeed, indeed. So before we had the interview, we were talking about a much more serious issue, and that was Putin and Obama at the UN yesterday. And so Obama said about Syria's Bashar al-Assad that he reacted to peaceful protests by escalating repression and killing that in turn created the environment for current strife. Yes, realism dictates that compromise will be required to end the fighting and ultimately stamp out ISIL, but realism also requires a managed transition away from Assad and to a new leader. Putin responded with, "We think it's an enormous mistake to refuse to cooperate with the Syrian government and its armed forces, who are valiantly fighting terrorism face to face. We should finally acknowledge that no one but President Assad's armed forces and Kurd militia are truly fighting the Islamic State and other terrorist organizations in Syria." Well, he may have a point. Obama says, we cannot stand by when the sovereignty and territorial integrity of a nation is flagrantly violated. If that happens without consequences in Ukraine, it could happen to any nation gathered here today. Putin says, referring to some of our colleagues, he said, first, they continue their policy of expanding NATO. What for? Sooner or later, this logic of confrontation was bound to spark off a grave geopolitical crisis. And this is exactly what happened in Ukraine, where the discontent of population with the current authorities was used and the military coup was orchestrated from outside. That triggered a civil war as a result. So he's saying that what happened in Ukraine was really the fault of the U.S. and NATO.
Well, I think, in a sense, from his perspective, it was because the Ukraine basically overthrew a very Russian-friendly government and had been talking about trying to join NATO, and that put him in a very nervous and in his perspective, a very precarious situation. So I can understand Putin's perspective from that. And the flip side too. I mean, I'm certainly not being apologist for anything that happened in Ukraine, and I think that he was wrong to go marching into Ukraine, and despite his denials, that's clearly what they did. And it was interesting on the Assad thing. You kind of made an aside there too. That Putin had a point.
Well, Assad is a butcher. He is, but he's not worse than ISIS. The president says ISIL,
exactly.
But he's not worse than ISIS.
And Obama's trying to make it sound as if it's all Assad's fault, and that us destabilizing the Middle East by pulling out, in a blink, didn't have something to do with the vacuum that ISIS then moved in to fill.
Yes.
Yes. In Iraq. And I think that, we've got to understand we have some responsibility there, and perhaps maybe learn that Assad, and again, he's not, perhaps he ends up being the lesser of two evils, but we stabilize first and then maybe work to make some changes in Syria and work with the people in Syria to effect some change, because, if we basically go and pull him out, we do the same thing that we did in Iraq with their leader, and then we leave a vacuum of leadership, and what happens is then things like ISIL occur. And and I think that our policy in the Middle East has been nothing but bad news for the people of the Middle East, and we need to really think about what it is that what we need to be doing there and how we can help the situation, not necessarily just trying to deal with people that have political ideals that match ours.
Yeah, I have to say that, the president likes to say that he ended the war in Iraq. No, he didn't. He just left. And it's raging. It's still going on. Iraq, is a mess. Syria is a mess. The Kurds are standing up, and good for the Kurds. They have been on the wrong end of strife for a long time, and from multiple sources. So it'll be interesting to watch this. I think Putin is a very strong leader. He wants to reassemble, Russian strength. And I don't want to say he wants to bring together the old Soviet Union, because I don't know that that's his plan, although it may be. But he certainly wants to bring in these close neighboring countries back into the fold. And I know that if I were in Estonia or Latvia or Slovenia, I might be a little nervous right now. All you have to do is look at the people, living on the Ukrainian peninsula and say, oops, they're now part of Russia, whether they wanted to be or not. Right, and certain percentage of their population spoke Russian, were Russian nationals, but that's true of a lot of different places. I mean, Southern California is majority. I think the largest population is of Mexican heritage. Does that mean that we want this piece of California to be, broken off and become Mexican? No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, some people maybe, but
not me.
But yeah, and I think the majority of people understand that our political system, for all of its foibles, is more stable, and we've had a better economy than Mexico by a large stretch, and most people don't want to make any changes there, and we're certainly not planning any uprisings.
Yep.
But
that's true. We have
to.
We are absolutely, totally, and completely out of time.
Talk through it. So it's been a great morning.
It's been a great morning. It's 6:59. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.
This is KCAA Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of buysellmakeoffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. The market's trying to recover from Monday's big sell-off. Stocks are now testing the lows of the year and could be heading for the first negative year since 2008. Tight inventory caused home prices to rise in July.